Continental Championship Wrestling, home of the National Wrestling Alliance, featuring champions from throughout the continental United States. And now to your host, world-renowned wrestling commentator, Gordon Soley.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, and welcome once again to Continental Championship Wrestling, brought to you by the National Wrestling Alliance, the oldest and largest sanctioning body of professional wrestling the world over. And you will be seeing tonight the NWA World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair defeat Von Erich for the third time to win the NWA Championship. Pack will be switching to Japan. Also, later this evening, we'll be having a special interview with Bob Armstrong. We'll be watching, that's right, Bob Armstrong in a special interview later on. Also, we'll be seeing the sensational Roberto Soto in action. We'll be watching a Continental Heavyweight Championship match. Tommy Wildfire Rich going up against the former champion, The Flame. We'll be seeing the Tennessee Stud, Jimmy Golden and Robert Fuller, against Brad and Steve Armstrong and Dick Slater, and a host of other great matches, all coming up here on this hour of Continental Championship Wrestling. And right now, it's time for our first match, so let's go to our ring announcer, Mike Jackson.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match, one fall with a 20-minute time limit, tag team action. First of all, entering the ring, weighing in at 214 pounds from Oklahoma, here is Roy Lee Welch. And his partner at 218 pounds from Panama City, Florida, would you welcome Les Freeman. Ladies and gentlemen, their opponents are making their way to ringside. They are the Southeastern Tag Team Champions at a combined weight of 446 pounds. Here are the Nightmares.
All right, the Nightmares making their way to the ring now, getting set to go up against Roy Lee Welch and Les Freeman. Freeman and Welch, a brand new tag team combination. Young Freeman has got a very, very bright-looking future in front of him. First time to tag up with Roy Lee Welch here on Continental Championship Wrestling, but I'll tell you one thing, he is a very impressive youngster. Good muscular definition and conformation, great upper body strength, and of course Roy Lee Welch, a second-generation competitor. They're going up against the Nightmares, the Southeastern Tag Team Champions, who are a doubly dangerous pair of individuals. Rather diminutive compared to a lot of wrestlers, but boy, they are dangerous. Roy Lee tags up with him, collar and elbow, and good clean break by Roy Lee in the red trunks as he backs away. Freeman and Welch both in the red trunks. Duck under, go behind, high waist lift.
Gordon Soley, I heard you say earlier in this program, at the opening of the program, that you intended to show a Bob Armstrong interview.
That's right,
I know
sir.
You recognize what this is. This is an injunction from the National Wrestling Alliance, and it states very clearly there that if you show this interview with Bob Armstrong, he's lost the loser leave town in the Continental area, and he's not supposed to be seen on this program. If he is seen on this program, there'll be money out of your pocket. There'll be money out of Continental Championship. You tell him, Jimmy. Tell him.
Exactly right. Somebody's going to be sued. We're not to see his ugly face again on this air. Not ever again on this TV program, Gordon Soley. You understand? It says it right there.
Well, I don't know what judge you convinced of this, but obviously this is an official document with the judge's signature.
You bet it's official, and it better be.
It's official. You beat a man, loser, leave town, that man's gone, and he's not to be heard from or seen, Gordon.
That's it.
What they're saying, that's what this is for. Read them and weep. Read them and weep.
I think the point's been perfectly well made. I saw the document, and it is indeed an injunction against the appearance of the videotape on this program. And all I can tell you at this point in time is that I am extremely disappointed. However, I think all of you can understand my point of view. I really don't care to put myself or Continental Championship Wrestling in financial jeopardy. I'm sure that by next week we can get this situation ironed out. So hopefully next week we will have the videotaped interview from Robert Armstrong, Bob Armstrong, Bullet Bob. But we will not obviously have it tonight because that pretty well put, if you will, the quietus on that. Freeman looking extremely well against the... nice forward leg trip. And Freeman looking very, very well against the Nightmares. And the Nightmares now getting quite a hoot from the crowd here at the beautiful Boutwell Auditorium. By the way, any of you around the country, if you're ever in Birmingham on a Monday night, the place to be is Boutwell Auditorium. Freeman with a full arm drag and twist, looking very good, looking strong against the Nightmares. Off the ropes, high hip toss. Nightmare down. Good spin under. So Freeman marking his time well. The tag is made. The second Nightmare moves in the ring. Good spin under takedown that time by Les Freeman. Total armbar now. Off the ropes. Freeman could be in trouble here. Freeman could be in trouble. And I see my good friend Johnny Crash Rich joining me right now. And Johnny, unfortunately, I was hoping to have an interview tonight with Bob Armstrong, but it's been blocked by a court injunction.
Listen, Mr. Soley, well, I'd like to apologize for interrupting, but I don't apologize to them two boys right there. There you go, Les. Oh, we almost got him. I don't apologize to them a bit at all. I just want them to know, I want them to be aware that Johnny Rich is around, that he's watching them, and that he hadn't forgot.
Johnny, I know it's going to be some time. Freeman went up for a drop kick, and the Nightmare ducked to one side. You must make contact on a drop kick. Full body slam on Freeman, and the tag is made once again. I think we should make it perfectly clear at this point, too, that Johnny Rich has never openly accused the Nightmares of the critical injuries that Johnny received. He was in intensive care for 3 days. We almost lost this fine young athlete. But nonetheless, I think Johnny knows, and I think all of you know, exactly who is behind this entire situation.
Mr. Soley, these boys, they pride themselves on getting rid of people. They think they've gotten rid of Johnny Rich. Well, that's why I want to be out here and let them know that I'm still around, that I'm not down and I'm not out. The doctor hasn't released me yet, but just as soon as he does, and only I'll know when that moment is, and then they're going to find out shortly after that.
Well, I think what Johnny Rich is really telling you is that it could happen any time, and it could happen at the least expected moment. And right now, the Nightmares are moving rather well. High vertical suplex on Les Freeman. Quick float over. Good kick out. Good move out by Freeman. Freeman needs very badly to get over and tag up with Roy Lee Welch. Tag is made with a second Nightmare. Freeman taking a forearm into the chest. Lateral press. Again, he powers out. Freeman now explodes with a pair of right hands. Another right hand, and the Nightmare driven backwards. It's Freeman with an Irish boot. The Nightmare caught him. A well-placed boot right into the cardiac area. Brings him up for the pile driver. He's got him in a lot of trouble here. Came off like a battering ram. They got the 3 count. They got the 3 count. And so the Nightmares continue their winning ways. And now for the official word, here's our ring announcer.
In the official time of 8 minutes and 37 seconds, the fall and the match go to the Southeastern Tag Team Champions, the Nightmares.
Let's take another look at that in slow motion. You'll see what I'm talking about with these Nightmares. They are an extremely effective pair, and that's why they have held the Southeastern Championship as long as they have. Coming off that rope, using their body as a battering ram, that was very effective. And there you see the pinfall on Les Freeman. It is all over. And so the Nightmares emerge victorious once again. Each week here on Continental Championship Wrestling, we do bring you the stars of the NWA, and certainly the outstanding star of the NWA is indeed the National Wrestling Alliance World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair. Now, Flair has held this title on 3 different occasions. Now, the last time he won the title was from Kerry Von Erich in Japan. Before that, of course, he defeated the only man ever to win the title on 7 different times, Harley Race. Well, the man who defeated Harley Race at one point in his career for that world title and held that title, albeit for a short period of time, nonetheless, he held the title, was Tommy Wildfire Rich. Certainly, in my mind, there is no athlete who is better qualified, better suited mentally, temperamentally, and physically to win that title than Tommy Wildfire Rich. But I want Tommy Wildfire Rich and all of you to see what kind of a champion we have in the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Ric Flair. Let's journey now to Japan and watch Ric Flair as he regains his title for a 3rd time. How long he'll hold on to that title does remain to be seen, because he has got to face Tommy Rich for that world title, and Tommy may become one of the few men in history to win that championship for a 2nd time. Let's go to Japan. All right, Kerry Von Erich with the abdominal stretch on the NWA former World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair. Flair, in a return match, breaks the hold. We are in Japan, and you can hear Sapporo Nofumi behind us as he brings you the Japanese version of this particular match. But it is Flair and Von Erich. Von Erich, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, having won it in the name of his brother David Von Erich in a memorial match in Texas Stadium. High vertical suplex on the former champion Ric Flair. And it looks at this point in time like Flair is in serious trouble with Von Erich. Lateral press, but Flair powers out before the 3 count. Von Erich very much in control. Here is a man who is tremendously conditioned and is fighting with a vengeance, fighting in the memory of his brother, and his brother, of course, who passed away in Japan after injuries sustained from a wrestling match there. And again, Von Erich going for the lateral press, and again, Flair able to power his way out. Flair coming to his feet very slowly. An Irish whip off the ropes. And it was Flair hanging onto those ropes. Von Erich catching nothing more than empty air. Flair hobbling toward his man, moves in on him. Flair catches Von Erich, a chop into the throat. Flair now, an Irish whip, misses with a chop. And it's Von Erich now, beautiful cross-body block, hooks the far leg. But once again, Flair, with tremendous second effort, is able to withstand the challenge of the pinfall. The Alabama Championship, a one-night round-robin tournament. The winner to receive the Alabama Championship belt. 14 matches in all. No increase in prices. First-round pairings, Brad Armstrong against Jimmy Golden. Steve Armstrong against Robert Fuller. Nick Patrick against Dick Slater. Norvell Austin against the exotic Adrian Street. Roy Welch against the Flame, plus 3 other matches. Don't forget Andalusia Thursday night.
Wrestling fans, before I talk to the wrestlers around me, let me remind you of a very special announcement. This Thursday night at 8 p.m. at the Farm Pavilion in Andalusia, Alabama. Big matches will be there. Now, this Friday night coming up at 8:30 p.m., Expo Hall in Mobile, Alabama, the biggest one-night tournament ever signed by Continental Championship Wrestling. The winner to receive the championship belt in front of me, the Alabama heavyweight title. Bill Ash, you're in the pairings.
You know, I'm already the U.S. Junior Champion, but I'd like to add this belt to my collection. I've got Roberto Soto. He is no match for the Professor. You know, I heard they threw him out of Puerto Rico because he was a disgrace to the islands. So,
I know nothing about that, Bill Ash, but the Flame, you're also in the tournament. You'll be facing Roy Lee Welch.
You know, it's really no great honor to represent a state like Alabama at anything. However, I must admit this is a very lucrative title, and anyone that wins this title and anyone that holds this title, they're in for a great deal of money, and let's face it, after all, that's what each and one of us as professionals are in this business for.
Nightmares, you'll be split up, not as a team, you'll be in single competition.
So single competition, that means we got not one, but we have two chances. And the only reason that we would like to have that, like you said, it's not too much to represent, but the only reason we want it is so no one else can have it. And we got two chances so nobody can have it, and we can carry that around with us and show everybody, and we're going to end up with it because, like I said, we got more chances at it than anyone.
That's Friday night, Expo Hall, 8:30 p.m., Alabama title night. 14 matches in all. There'll be no increase in prices, and don't forget Andalusia coming up in your area.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match, one fall, 20-minute time limit. Entering the ring, making his first Birmingham appearance at 218 pounds from West Palm Beach, Florida, would you welcome David Fox. And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent making his way to ringside at this time weighs in at 222 pounds from Puerto Rico. Here is the very popular Roberto Soto.
Roberto Soto entering the ring, hurdling the top ring rope, going up against Dave Fox. Fox out of West Palm Beach, Florida. Soto, of course, out of San Juan, Puerto Rico. Soto, a great competitor. Fox, who, okay. Referee checking Fox out very, very carefully. Fox, a very dangerous man. Notice the excellent upper body conformation on Fox. Soto, a ring-wise veteran. One fall. A perfunctory touch of hands indicating both men intend to be good sportsmen. Soto, clean break after he bowled his man back into the ring ropes. They lock Fox drives a knee to the midsection and catches him again. And joining me right now is the former Continental Heavyweight Champion, the Flame.
Well, Gordon, you didn't need to use the word former. I mean, let's face it, I don't think Tommy Rich has anything to be proud of the way he stole the title from him. But that's only a matter of time till I get it back. The thing that I'm concerned with right now is the gentleman in the ring. One, Mr. Roberto Soto. And I know that he's the Puerto Rican champion, and I know why Mr. Soto has suddenly appeared on the scene. Because he holds me directly responsible for something that happened to his brother. His brother happened to get his face burnt, and burnt quite badly, and Soto is holding me responsible. I had absolutely nothing to do with it, but this man has a vendetta against me, and you know, with that fiery Latin blood, and the Latins have a great tradition for being very clannish, and especially when it comes to their family. And Soto has made it openly plain to everyone that he is here and he is out to get me and he is out to destroy me. Well, I want to tell you one thing, Mr. Soto. This is not Puerto Rico, Mr. Soto. This is the United States. This is my backyard. And you come over here sticking your nose into my backyard, and I'm going to tell you what is liable to happen to you. The same thing that happened accidentally to your brother. Something that I had nothing to do with now, but it just could well happen to you too, Mr. Soto. So you better back off of me, boy, and back off right now.
May I point out, sir, that first of all, Puerto Rico is a part of the United States.
Not as far as I'm concerned.
And as far as I'm concerned, sir, what you were involved in was not just another cribbage game.
Well, let me tell you something, Gordon. I know that you and I have known each other for quite some time, and I also know that you don't particularly like my style of wrestling. All I do is I'm a very aggressive wrestler out there, and I go out there to win, and if you can't stand the heat, so to speak, you got to get out of the kitchen. And I'm going to tell Mr. Soto one more time, and I'm going to tell you because I know that you're a personal friend of Roberto Soto's and his brother, and you can relay the message if he doesn't get it. Back off, or the same thing that happened to your brother is going to happen to you. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Soley.
That's 21 with me. All right, and so the Flame making his comments, and we'll be seeing him later on as he goes after Tommy Wildfire Rich and the Continental Heavyweight Championship. Tommy Rich, of course, a prime contender for that World Heavyweight Championship. And I may say this. I was talking to Bob Geigel the other day, the president of the NWA, and he was telling me, and I'll pass this along to you, he said that he had never seen Flair looking more drawn out than he is right now. Flair has been, as Geigel said, with grudging admiration, a tremendous champion. Beautiful head scissors by Soto, has Fox to the canvas. Soto up again, another head scissors, has Fox to the canvas again. Hooked the far leg, or the near leg rather. Hooked the near leg, got the pinfall, and a fine victory for Roberto Soto. And I'll guarantee you one thing, I'll play back this interview that I had with the Flame later on so that Roberto Soto can hear it. And now for the word, here's our ring announcer.
In the official time of 5 minutes and 3 seconds, the fall and the match go to Roberto Soto.
Taking a look at this tremendous Puerto Rican athlete in action once again, we'll see where those two flying head scissors turned the trick on one David Fox. And by the way, that's spelled with a double X. And that's exactly what it brought him, a double X and a pinfall. And there you can see Soto going up, executing 1 and 2 of those tremendous flying head scissors, hooking the near leg, scoring the pinfall. The victory goes to Roberto Soto. The Great American Bash. That's right, at the Civic Center. Match time is 8 p.m. The NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Ric Flair, defends his title against the challenge of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And it will be the Road Warriors in a special challenge match against Ivan and Nikita Koloff. The U.S. title match, Magnum TA defends against Tully Blanchard. The Continental Championship, Tommy Wildfire Rich against Adrian Street. And the World Tag Team Championship, the Rock and Roll Express against the Nightmares. Jimmy Valiant takes on the Barbarian. It'll be the National Tag Team Championship, Ole and Arn Anderson against Brad and Steve Armstrong. And it will be the Raging Bull against Crusher Khrushchev. Sam Houston takes on Buddy Laudel. It all takes place tomorrow night here in Pensacola at the Civic Center. Match time is 8 p.m., the Great American Bash.
Pensacola wrestling fans, you're in for a store for one of the biggest matches that you've ever seen in your lives. NWA presents the Great American Bash coming up this Sunday night. Adrian Street, you're against Tommy Wildfire Rich. The title is in the line.
The title is mine. As my friend Princess Diane says, Adrian, she says, you collect trophies, wrestling trophies, like Prince Charles collects polo ponies. As I predicted, before I ever came from England, I would take the title. I'm going to do exactly the same to Tommy Rich as I did to Austin Idol.
Let's hear the comments from Tommy Wildfire Rich.
1985 American Bash on tour. Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes. You know, I'm glad to be a part of it. You know, it's champion night. Adrian Street, you bring your sweet self on down because I guarantee you, summer's over, but excitement ain't. Continental title, I'm coming at you, Street. You better be sweet.
Don't forget, that's tomorrow night, Pensacola Civic Center. Dusty Rhodes is there, Ric Flair's there, the Road Warriors, and a host of others. Tomorrow night, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, this television match, one fall with a special 30-minute television time limit. It is for the Continental title. First of all, making his way to ringside, he weighs in at 301 pounds. From parts unknown, the #1 challenger, here is the Flame. And ladies and gentlemen, introducing your Continental Heavyweight Champion. He weighs in at 227 pounds. From Hendersonville, Tennessee, would you welcome Tommy Wildfire Rich?
Tommy Wildfire Rich enters the ring. As he does, the Flame is quick to set upon him. Rich never had a chance to get off his jacket or his belt. He is the Continental Heavyweight Champion. The winner of this match obviously will meet the NWA World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair, and the Flame wants that opportunity. The Flame looking forward to that chance. Rich, trying to get that jacket off, is tremendously handicapped here as the Flame continues to press his advantage. Rich trying desperately to get that jacket off. He needs to get rid of that belt. The referee lending him a helping hand, throws it out to Mike Jackson. And Rich coming up very slowly, caught with a belt. The Flame at better than 300 pounds, very definitely in control here. But now it's Rich coming back to his feet. Rich. Caught again by the Flame. It's Rich. Caught with a hard right hand, and it's Rich with an elbow to the top of the head. Tommy Rich off the ropes, catches him with a good hard right hand. Irish whip, and Rich catches him once again. An elbow into the chest. Tommy Wildfire Rich, who started off very poorly here as he was attacked as he entered the ring, now turning things around. And everything riding on this match. The chance to meet the World Heavyweight Champion. Rich comes off, caught him beautifully, coming off the ropes. It's Rich now taking charge. Tommy Wildfire Rich, the young Tennessee, ooh, brother. Rich in a lot of trouble now. He came down with that right fist. It was the Flame rolling to one side, and the Flame doing something now, adjusting that mask. The Flame with a headbutt to the side of the head of Tommy Rich. Rich went down like a felled ox. Rich gets a foot over the ropes. No, sir, the Flame is not the winner. He is not the winner. Rich coming up very, very slowly. The referee explaining to the Flame that Rich had his foot over the ropes. It's the Flame catching Rich and driving him outside the ring ropes. Now the Flame, moving remarkably fast for a man his size, catches him with the right hand. Rich down to his knees, back on his feet. Rich smashed into the turnbuckle, out into that steel reinforcing area. Rich trying to get it together, trying to shake those cobwebs. The Flame after him, a forearm across the back. The Flame now hurtling Rich back into the ring. And so the Flame wants a clear-cut victory so that he may indeed get a chance at the World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair. Rich caught again by the Flame. The Flame now into a heavy lateral press. Rich again barely powers out. Rich again trying to shake those cobwebs loose. Tommy Rich. Backbreaker. And again, Rich, just before the count of three, able to power away from it. And the Flame going back into his trunks once again. Rich in behind his man, has him in a rolling reverse. He had him in a rolling reverse. And he got the count. He got the count, no question about that. And so the winner, and the man who will meet the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, he's earned the shot, is Tommy Wildfire Rich. We'll take another look now. Tommy Wildfire Rich, and things looked like they were going badly for him. However, Rich, utilizing the cleverness that he does contain and his ring savvy. Remember, he is a former World Heavyweight Champion. He won that title over the only man ever to hold it on 7 different times, Harley Race. And Rich, there's you see it, getting the pinfall on the Flame, and that indeed entitles him to a shot at Ric Flair.
Reminder, for the next 2 weeks, TV will be on at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Also, let me remind you here of Mobile, Alabama Expo Hall, Friday night at 8:30 p.m. Continental Championship Wrestling presents the biggest card held in a long time. A one-night tournament for the Alabama title that is right in front of me. I want to remind you of 14 matches. There'll be no increase in prices. I'd like to talk first of all to Roy Welch. You're in the tournament.
I sure am, Mike, and I would like to remind you that, of course, Bob Armstrong was a former champion, and we all know what happened to Bob, and he was a great champion. But now the title is up. We're all fighting for the title. And, you know, this is a very prestigious title. I don't care what Flame. I heard what he said about Alabama. I think Alabama is one of the greatest states in the Union, and I'm going after this title full force.
All right. Norvell Austin. I'd like to bring Norvell Austin in. He's facing the exotic Adrian Street.
Exactly right. Now, I ain't gonna take nothing away from Adrian Street. I know he's a Southeastern champion, but I don't care what you are, Street. This is a coveted Alabama title, and I'm gonna come in there giving it all I got. And Mike, I got to say one thing: if man don't draw a bout, he's got to wrestle about 5 times. So everybody's got to be in shape for this match, and I'm gonna be in the best shape of my life, and I'm coming to win. I guarantee you that.
Rick House, to win the tournament, you can wrestle no less than 4 times.
Let me tell you something, all of them too much of a gentleman to come out here and become unglued, but this will mark the first time that I'll ever be able to hold a major title. And I'm just excited right now because I got a chance to take care of one of them nappy-headed nightmares, and you're going to be going down right out the business.
Quickly, Roberto Soto, Bill Ash is your opponent.
Oh, yeah, Bill Ash is a good wrestler, and I've wrestled him before many times, but I just want to say one thing. The title is what counts.
Tommy? Somebody say something about Mobile, Alabama, fired up, big night. Nightmares, Johnny gonna be with me, so you better be looking out. Mobile, be ready.
Expo Hall.
I want to take a moment right now to talk to Brad and Steve Armstrong and to Dick Slater. It was just recently, of course, that your brother Scott was rather severely injured and is going to be out of action for a while.
Yes, sir, it looks that way. You know, it's just another example of the Fullers and Mr. Golden. Excuse me, I said Mr. Golden. I don't, pardon my respect. I have none for these 3 gentlemen because, like I said, it's just another display of unsportsmanlike conduct and the nauseating, repulsive thing that have. Just show the film, Mr. Soley, and it'll speak for itself.
Well, I'll tell you what, before we show that, I want to ask Dick Slater a question because, Dick, you've sort of come in and taken the place of Bullet Bob Armstrong, and frankly, we're all very pleased and very happy that you've taken up the cudgel for the Armstrongs.
Seems to me there's a lot of low-down dogs around here. The Fullers and a few others. But I told these men right here that I would show you what a low-down dog is. We'll take it out on the Fullers.
I tell you what, let's take a look at what happened to Scott Armstrong. If you'll, those of you in the audience right now, take a look to your left and we'll take a look at the monitor. And you'll see exactly what we're talking about.
There it was. You saw it. Robert Fuller pulled something out of his tights and hit Scott with a foreign object, and, brother, that crossed his running light. Scott was out. We made a mistake. We turned our back on the Fuller for just 1 minute, and that was our mistake. And Scott, bless his heart, paid for it.
Boy, one thing, you would never want to turn your back on anybody like this. You know, the Fullers are low-down dogs, too. They're going to take every advantage of what you do. But don't ever turn your back on anybody.
Well, certainly sage advice from Dick Slater, Mr. Electricity himself, saying never turn your back on anybody, and I can certainly understand that. But right now, things do not look too good for the Armstrongs.
Yes, sir. You see, it's taken, the action has gone outside the ring. And when you go outside the ring, outside those ropes, brother, it gets severely dangerous down there. We're going pretty good. Steve and I are taking care of ourselves. And they're putting Scott on the stretcher. Scott is out. He's been hit with something, like I said, that crossed his running light. And, brother, he is out.
Well, Steve, you have not had much to say during this entire situation, but I know your emotions are running pretty deep.
I'm telling you, man, it just kind of turns my stomach to see this kind of stuff going on, especially when it's your brother, man, when it's somebody that you've grown up with and lived with all your life and love, you know, just, you know, here it goes right here. Look, Jesus.
Golden jumped off the apron. They were carrying Scott back on the stretcher, and he was out helpless, and Golden jumped right off the ring apron onto him on the stretcher. And you'll see right here, he picks him up and pile drives him on the floor. On the floor, brother, and that was it. As if he wasn't out before, he's hurt here.
This was the pile driver, of course, on the concrete floor. And again, the Fullers and Golden continuing to pummel and punish Scott Armstrong. And, well, there's no telling how long he's going to be out of action.
No, sir, there sure isn't. Well, what Scott is completely out here. Stevie's firing back on Jimmy, and I'm trying my best to come up. I'm around the other side of the ring, and I'm trying my best to come around there and help Steve out if I can. But in the meantime, in comes that long, tall drink of water, Ron Fuller. And in comes Robert again. And they're pulling Scott into the ring, and this is where the damage is done right here. Ron picks him up. The man, Scott is helpless. He's out. He's out completely, and Ron picks him up so that his brother Robert can put the toe hold on him, and this is where the injuries came, and we tried our best to fight our way back into that ring, and we was fighting them tooth and nail, brother. The damage was done too quick.
Now this, of course, the infamous Fuller leg lock. That is achieved international fame, or infamy, if you will, because just nobody gets away from that.
No, sir. Nobody does. And Scott certainly didn't, bless his heart. And his leg is messed up. His knee was blown out real bad. And it might be a few months, excuse me, before he ever comes back to wrestling, bless his heart.
Well, one good thing for sure, we've got Dick Slater here, and we're going to be seeing these men in a six-man tag. And Dick, congratulations and thank you for hanging in with the Armstrongs.
It's my pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match is one fall. Special 30-minute time limit. Six-man tag, TV time remaining. First of all, entering the ring, weighing in at 231 pounds from Montgomery, Alabama, gorgeous Jimmy Golden. And one of his partners weighs in at 232 pounds from Tennessee. Here's luscious Robert Fuller. And ladies and gentlemen, the #1 man of the team weighs in at 278 pounds from Tennessee, also the Tennessee stud, Ron Fuller. Ladies and gentlemen, their opponents are making their way to ringside. First of all, weighing in at 226 pounds, Marietta, Georgia, Brad Armstrong. And his partner at 227 pounds, also Marietta, Georgia, Steve Armstrong. And ladies and gentlemen, their partner, Mr. Excitement, Dick Slater.
Nobody waited for the bell to ring this time, as Slater and the Armstrongs took after the Fullers and Jimmy Golden. Robert and Ron Fuller. Ron Fuller, the Tennessee stud. Robert Fuller and gorgeous Jimmy Golden. There you see one of our ENG cameras at ringside. Coming to you from around the world, it's Continental Championship Wrestling. And that, of course, is Dick Slater, Mr. Electricity. In there with the Armstrongs, and thank heavens for that. Brad Armstrong charging. Catches Golden. Irish whip on Golden. Catches him in the midsection, and Golden through the ropes. Brad Armstrong very much in control of the situation here. This our final event this week on this hour of Continental Championship Wrestling. Another Irish whip and a beautiful drop kick now by Brad Armstrong. Golden makes the tag. Robert Fuller tags up, and it's Brad Armstrong with a side headlock. Armstrong ties up with his brother Steve. Steve, good solid smash into the back. Steve Armstrong catches him back of the ear. Steve Armstrong now with a side headlock. Good reversal by Steve Armstrong has Fuller back to the canvas. Robert Fuller again feels the sting of that canvas. And here comes the Tennessee stud. All 6 feet 9 inches of him. Tennessee stud locks up. Tennessee stud now using that powerful forearm has him up, full body slam. The stud comes down. Armstrong off to one side, brings the stud up. Full body slam on the stud. Armstrong down across the chest. And it's the Tennessee stud tagging up with Jimmy Golden. Steve Armstrong brings him up, full body slam. Six-man tag team match. And the last match on this hour of Continental Championship Wrestling. Be watching for some exciting news about Tommy Wildfire Rich and a very special premium upcoming regarding Tommy Wildfire Rich, the man that many consider to be the next NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Golden now connects with a hard right hand on Steve Armstrong. Reversal on the Irish whip. High backdrop. Slater back in the ring, and nobody anxious to tangle with Mr. Electricity. Slater, the most unpredictable wrestler I've ever known in my life. You never know where he's coming from next. Brad Armstrong, duck under, go behind by Robert Fuller. Tennessee stud getting in some cheap shots. Now Golden and the stud pounding away at Brad Armstrong. The referee occupied by Steve Armstrong, and Brad Armstrong in trouble. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Slater. Now Slater could have tagged in and did not. And Brad Armstrong in a lot of trouble as Jimmy Golden and Robert Fuller keep trading off, and now it's a Tennessee stud in there. Slater stalking back and forth. And the stud feeling very confident. Armstrong slips through his legs, makes the tag. And it is Steve Armstrong out there. Steve Armstrong looking good now. Steve Armstrong pounding away. Brad Armstrong in there. And it is Steve Armstrong pounding away against the team of Fullers and they've got him in a rolling reverse. He got the pinfall. He got the pinfall. Brad Armstrong gets the pinfall on the Tennessee stud. And look at the stud screaming something. And Slater suddenly turning on the Armstrongs. Dick Slater has turned on the Armstrongs. Slater exploding with everything that he's got. Now it's Fuller and Golden and Fuller on Steve Armstrong and Dick Slater against Brad Armstrong. Brad Armstrong firing back, and now Slater outside the ring climbs to that top ring rope, off the ring ropes, down on the head of Brad Armstrong. And so Slater joins the list of Judases. Another Benedict Arnold in Dick Slater. Armstrong outside the ring, coming up very, very slowly. And look at this despicable. And they've got him in the Fuller leg lock. They've got him in the Fuller leg lock. And Slater right there to add more punishment. Dick Slater adding more punishment as they've got. Brad Armstrong finally comes in. It's Brad Armstrong exploding against Dick Slater. Steve Armstrong battling away. And the Armstrongs, 2 against 4, fighting almost insurmountable odds. In fact, they are fighting insurmountable odds. No question about that. And so Dick Slater joins the growing list of Judases, of Benedict Arnolds. As he turned on his friends, the bell is being called for. The bell is being called for. And even more punishment being meted out. And the Armstrongs are helpless and hapless praise now to this backbiting, back-jumping group of Robert and Ron Fuller, Jimmy Golden, and now Dick Slater adds his name to that infamous list. A triple pile driver on Steve Armstrong, a triple pile driver, and all the damage that could possibly be done has been done. Well, we'll be back. Time is 8:30. The Alabama Championship, a one-night round-robin tournament. The winner to receive the Alabama Championship belt. 14 matches in all. No increase in prices. First-round pairings, Brad Armstrong against Jimmy Golden. Steve Armstrong against Robert Fuller. Nick Patrick against Dick Slater. Norvell Austin against the exotic Adrian Street. Roy Welch against the Flame, plus 3 other matches. Don't forget Andalusia Thursday night.
Wrestling fans in the Mobile area, Expo Hall, Friday night, 8:30 p.m. Dynamite excitement. The Alabama title that's in front of me will be on the line. It was held by Bob Armstrong. One-night tournament, no increase in prices. There'll be 14 matches in all. Ron Fuller, you seem to be gloating at this point.
Don't you just love it? 2 of them down and just 1 more to go. Come on in here, Dick. Come on in here, baby. You got $5,000 in your pocket.
Ho. You think that I'm a low-down dog, that I'm just going to go in the ring and beat somebody up for nothing? No, you owe me $5,000 more.
Okay.
I'm going to get my money before it's all over with. And then we'll worry about taking care of the rest of the Armstrongs if there's any of them left around to take care of.
You're going to get that belt right there, Dick. It's going to belong to you.
I may just take the
Steve Armstrong, the baby Hugo.
Well, you can talk all you want to. I want to hear what Brad Armstrong's got to say about it.
Well, we finally find out what kind of low-life Dick Slater, longtime friend of the Armstrong family, really is. He's just like that no-good snake in the grass Robert Fuller. He'll do anything for money. Well, now there's a tournament. Steve is injured. I don't know if he'll be able to compete, but the tournament's for the Alabama title, the title that my dad had to vacate because of his injury. Well, you can bet your bottom dollar that the Armstrong family will be represented in Mobile Friday night.
You just heard the upset Brad Armstrong. All of these things will happen. Mobile Hall, Expo Hall, Friday night at 8:30 p.m.
I'm really sorry.
Well, time is completely gone on this hour of Continental Championship Wrestling. We certainly hope that you've enjoyed it and that you'll join us again next week at the same time. A special hi to all of our good friends in Atlanta, Georgia, and my good friend Joe Pedicino. Next week, we will be seeing live here on Continental Championship Wrestling the NWA World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair in action. Be sure and tune in. Until next week, then, from deep in the heart of Dixie, Gordon Soley saying so long.